Okay, folks, so let's get into taking a look at our setup here and see what we can do in terms of organising ourselves for this level instance. So here I am in a level instance, and what I've done initially is to set these up in folders. So as you can see, I've got my sort of art directed setup here. So an artist might have built this as part of your world building team or level team, and they've created a sort of a nice setup that we want to use or reuse over and over again. And so what we've done is we've got a setup where we can, within layers, turn off the decals and turn off things like the dome or the rocks, statue, and so on. And so in that respect, we've got the interiors as well that's set up here. As you can see, they're all overlaying each other. It's quite easy to author this as well, because you can just turn off your sort of variations within these and leave yourself a sort of an empty space to deal with interior variation 3, for example, or interior variation, there we go, 2, which is what we've got here. So it's all looking good, but as you can imagine, if we were just dragging our level instance here into our world over and over again, then all of these actors are just going to be dragged in into our main open world, and that's a lot of overheads, and we're just sort of hiding their visibility. It's we're still loading them into memory, so that's not great. So let's have a look at a way of where we can optimize what we've got going on here. So the first thing I'm going to do is start to create some data layers to be able to manage this, because then what that will allow me to do is allow me to filter these assets at runtime or during the editor to be able to load and unload these elements, and thus create some opportunity there for customized content. The thing I can do on top of that as well is I could, if I wanted to, tie those data layers into runtime events, so I could have blueprints run to control those filters. But how do you do it? How do you set it up? Well, the first thing we're going to do is I've got a data layers folder here where I'm going to start creating some data layers, and then I've got all my assets organized by which I'm going to start to control these. So I'll start with something simple like this dome. Let's set up how we control that. If I type in data as a search down here, then you can see that I've got my data layer assets and external ones here as well. But I actually don't have any data layers to control. So let's go and create a data layer. Let's just type in data at the top here, and it's this one, this world data layer that we've got here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave this blank as a template, because I'm going to duplicate a few of these for all of my assets that I've got here. But I'm just going to load this up, and what I want to do is I want this to be in editor, and I want this to support actor filters, and this is going to be turned on as well. I've got a few other options here, debug color and filtering and things like that. That's fine. I can save that and close it. One thing I'll also need to do is in my editor preferences, let's load this up, is go into actor filtering, and world partition actor filtering needs to be turned on in your editor preferences. Okay, so let's make a new data layer. I'm going to call this data layer dome. Simple as that. What I'm going to do, drag that onto my data layer assets that you can see here. Okay, so far so good. But I need to do another step, and that is to go to Windows, World Partition, Data Layer Outliner. And what I need to do is I need to drag in my data layer dome into here, and this is a key part, and with this set up, with this selected, I need to add selected actors to that data layer. So now this app, because I haven't unselected it, has been added into here, and you can see that actor filtering is turned on, and it is available. Because we set the initial one to be a sort of an editor data layer rather than a runtime data layer, if you remember we did this editor data layer, then it will automatically keep that, because I'm just using this as a sort of a template. So data layer dome done. Now what I'll do is for each of these assets, I will just go through and set up a data layer for all of them. So I've got my dome done here. I can do for the exterior, and the exterior basically covers all of things like the rocks, the statue, and the external elements. What I could do is I could select all of those as well. So if I do select all descendants, you can see I've got all of these elements selected. I'm going to create a data layer. exterior. Load that up and exterior, and just drag that in, data layer exterior, drag that into here. Again, I've got these ready to go, so I can just add selected assets to my data layers. Oh, excuse me, let me make sure I select the right one. Add selected data layer to assets. There we go. Very important that we are only adding those exterior ones to this one. Okay, so far so good. So that's added everything. As you can see, these rocks are within inside the rock folder. So we'll also add a data layer here for rocks. So data layer assets, DL_rocks. Drag that into rocks. Drag rocks in here. Select it. Add selected actors to data layer. Statue. Data layer statue. Add a data layer. Drag it in. Add selected actors. Trees. DL trees. 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 Add selected actors. Now let's move over to the interior now. So we've done all of the exterior elements. Let's go and get the interior ones. So with the interior elements, let's just turn all these on. Interior ones, what we can do, select the variation here. I'm just going to do select immediate children. And again, with this, this is going to be interior var 01. Add that, drag that in, interior variation 01, add selected. And we'll do the same thing for variation 2. You can see quite a repetitive process in all these. Data layer, interior var 02. Add selected actors. And finally, immediate children for 03. And we'll add that. You can see you can just drag them into to also add them, which is quite cool. So let's drag that into here. I've got this ready to go. And add selected actors to data layer. Brilliant. So I've got all of that ready to go. All my data layers created and assigned there. So far, so good. Now, what does that mean in terms of how we have our actors filtered? So let's take a quick look. So what we can do, we can minimize this. We've got our level instance building node here. So we'll go and find our level instance building no data layers. Well, we've got data layers now, so you know, we could do a save current level as with data layers. Just going to put that in PCG buildings levels. There we go. Save that in there. Update our process, of course. So there we go. With data layers. So what we can do from this, right click on this and we can go new blueprint. Okay, so in here what we've got now is a blueprint for the level instance building with data layers. Save. We can determine the sort of the class of that. It's a level instance, so that's fine. We don't actually want it as a pat level actor, we want it as a level instance for now. Okay, and what's important about this is if I come into my in fact, I should be able to just, let's go and load up my, for testing, here we are. If I drag in my blueprint, you can see that it loads up. We've got all of the elements that we'd expect with the level instance as before. However, if we scroll down over here, what you can see is I've got my filters now, and these relate to all of the data layers that I had available. Now, what we can do is we can turn on the sort of what we want. So for our exterior or our interior, we can turn on for our dome. We can hit apply and it will take away the dome or put it back. So that sounds great. Why would we not want to work with this system? Well, there we go, let's apply that. There we go, no interior at all, or interior too. Job done. Great stuff. Okay, so this isn't the end of the process, and in the next video we'll have a quick look at perhaps what some of the issues are with this system and what we might need to do to mitigate against it. So I'll see you there.